Hello, Mr. Moneybags. Stop before you buy the Crimson Fleet ship habitation mod by the infamous Elitech Aerospace, who you may recognize from the the June update video that was released just the other day. So we have an infamously famous sponsored mod creator from Bethesda, officially supported. How does it stack up? Well, Mr. Moneybags, before you spend your money, let me spend mine. Let's suss out if this is actually worth the money. So you have a very rough idea of what it looks like. What we're going to do now is we're going to do a deep dive into all things ship related for this mod. Most importantly, how does it actually work with all the different connections, ladders, doors. So a bit later, we'll take some time and go through every single connection and really test all the Habs. And you'll be surprised. We do find a little few things. Please use the chapters and go to all the bits and pieces you want. If you do get anything out of these, please consider liking, subscribing. And Mr. Moneybags, if you feel like supporting the channel, that goes a long way to be able to purchase more of these Starfield mods, which I need to rob banks to be able to afford. Well, let's dive in. We're going to try answer the question, is it worth the money? I'll have my final comments at the end. Chapters are there if you need them. Okay, so first things first, what is this mod? But before we get into that, this mod is worth 500 credit at the time of recording this video. I say that because I hope these prices come down, which at a high level equates to custom decorated Habs and somewhat customized cockpit, which, wait for it, at a first glance doesn't seem like such a bad deal, but to some it might. But then we look at this mod, the Ancient Marina module, which is a 2x2x2x2 basically, for 1,000 credit, which is 18 Australian dollars and roughly about 12 US dollars. What the, I don't know about you, but that is mind-blowingly expensive. Now, please let me know in the comments why you think this is so highly valued. Am I missing something here? Because this seems sky-high, priced to perfection. And hey, maybe the Moneybags will want this, but I'm just a little unsure why this is priced so heavily. And when you compare this mod, which offers a few rooms with some decorations, probably all custom-made, I assume, then compared to a mod that gives you pretty much double the Habs and enough components to basically build an entire ship out of these, with all the interiors matching and a whole Crimson Fleet themed makeover of all these Habs that have a lot of detail and maybe a really nice choice for people role-playing as a Crimson Fleet, or if you're like me and have built a ship based on the Crimson theme previously. But in any case, enough yabbering, let's get down to the details. Okay, so going over a quick overview, we get 7 habitation modules, connect and work just like all previous modules. They're basically refitted Hope Tech Habs. Also includes a Crimson Fleet Armstrong cockpit, which is this one here and quite similar. And the only thing that really changes with the cockpit is just some of the interior decorations, color, the lighting, and a few other bits and pieces. Now, the whole idea of these Habs is that, as in the title, is a crimson theme, completely fully decorated. You'll notice a lot of the aesthetics are representative of the key and heavily influenced by the Crimson Fleet. So that means a little bit more of a darker tone, a bit more red light. Obviously, Crimson Fleet being space pirate and a highly skilled combatant, we get everything you would kind of want. You've got a bar, a pool table, coffee machine, a fully functioning kitchen, got toilet, which is a must-have on a ship, of course. Kind of easy chilled couches, a hooker, computer. You've got your captain's quarter, comes with a computer, a kitchen, beds, storage, Crimson mission board, star map, TV. Crew's quarter comes with bench press, squat rack, functioning kitchen from memory, fridge, plenty of seating area, bed, toilet, computers. Then you have this storage room, which actually adds 700 capacity to your storage, which is really nice to see. Very nicely detailed. Then we have the technology core, which is completely stacked full of computers, servers, and Crimson flags. And the engineering bay has a really nicely detailed room, which is excellent, mainly because this central area will never get moved around. So you'll always have all 4 workbenches, as well as having quite a nice and well-detailed engineering room. So the armory comes with 2 mannequins, and will have various places to store weapons in some of the cases, and some of the wall mounts. Looks quite nice. It's got crimson gull on it, 2 other bits and pieces. Now the setup will depend on how you place things, of course, but we'll come to that soon. How much can you customize the individual Habs? Well, you are quite limited in what you can edit, which I guess makes sense because it would kind of defeat the purpose if we could move this all around. But I ran into an issue where I can't even get past some of the parts in the ship. Obviously, these issues will be resolved as time goes on. You won't be able to move anything in this ship as far as my testing, so including the armory. However, when it comes to decorating everything on top or excluding everything that's included in the Habs is fair game. So you can decorate just as you normally would, having complete flexibility. Now you'll see a lot more of the interior quite soon as we go through the Hab connection points. And let's just say you did purchase this mod and you wanted to purchase the Crimson habitations, you'd have to head over to Crick system and go to the key. Now keep in mind, in order to get to the key, you need to join the Crimson Fleet faction. So the other location is over in the Porama system, Porama 3, the Red Mile, to Lone Anderson, who looks probably very different to you. All the pieces are nice and cheap. You won't have to worry too much about the credit. However, do note there's only one Hab that gives crew station. So one of the most frustrating things about this is that there is no module that can really help boost your crew station. So you will have to build a ship with other modules or just a lot of the crew quarters. I guess the intention here is Crimson Fleet tend to have a lot of smaller ships, smugglings, and other nefarious activities. So going under the radar type deal, but they do have some larger ships. So it would be nice to be able to extend and increase or just add crew stations to all the different Habs so we could really bump this up. So now what we're going to do is go through in detail all the different Hab connections and which ones are going to be the best to connect throughout every single Hab except for the storage room. Not too fussed about the storage room. It's all a bit of a muchness, but let's get into that. And then I'll give you my thoughts and recommendation on whether you should purchase this or not. So here comes much more of a real live test. We've designed this beautiful ship. So we're going to run a little test. This is a ship designed to test the captain quarters and what the captain quarters is going to look like with all the various different points having connections or not having connections. So this will really test to see how well it performs and how it will look, more importantly, with all the various different connections. So let's have a look. First captain quarters we're going to check is when you have the connection just at the very front, and we'll have a quick gander and see how well it still maintains bits and pieces. So with the connection at the front, let's have a quick look around. Still seems to maintain quite a lot of excellent detail and clutter. Bed being right there, and looks overall quite nice in this first little room. We'll just go check the other compartment. Should not be really mucked around with at all. So it is pretty much as you would expect. So nice little connection there, very good functioning. Let's move on to the next. So the next 2 Habs are going to be on the port side, the left side, and we're just going to be testing the entry connections, first one and the second one. So let's take a look at the very first connection on the port side. So we're coming through here, and what we'll do is we'll just quickly show a shot of the captain's quarter with the front connection. So you can see already how much the room has changed around. Connecting it forward, you do lose quite a lot. You'll lose the screen. You'll lose this nice little star map here, or the map. So a little bit of detail lost there. However, the remaining of the room should be pretty much very, very similar. Same. So it's just that front pit that's going to change. So we'll jump over to the back end connection. And what we would expect to see is that this front bit here will be complete. So now with this room, with no connections at all to this front section, we have everything that you'd expect. And now if we jump over to this bottom connection, we have lost a little bit. So we'll just have a quick look to see what we've lost in here when you connect to the back side like this. So this is what the room looks like without the connection. You have a couch, some posters, some nets, a few little bits and pieces, what looks like to be a little bit of a storage unit there. Now, and if we jump back over, you can see what we've lost. So we lost all that there. However, we maintain pretty much everything that is kind of serves as a functional part of the ship. So this could be probably one of the better connections because it's pretty much cosmetic. Whereas all the other ones, we would lose the computer, the map, the kitchen. So this may be the better connection to preserve the detail. And before we jump on to what it looks like on the other side, let's have a look at what the module looks like with no connections at all. But let's have a look and see what it does look like. Somehow we've got Sam Cole in here, but let's start at the front where we have the computer. So we know this area quite well, and we'll just have a quick look around. So basically what we would surmise from everything that we've looked at, this is what it is without any connect. Do love the red couch there. We already have a good idea of what we'll be missing if we connect it to these Starborn 2 connection sides. So we'll start with the front. We are definitely going to be losing the navigation or the map thing. Oh no, we don't actually. Okay, so that's kind of nice. We actually keep the star map thing. So this could be another good connection for this front module where you maintain majority of the functionality and the look of it. So that would be my tip if you are looking to connect this and it's a captain quarter, maybe on the top right hand side is going to be the best. If you need to connect it on that side, I still think this is going to be probably the best side to connect to for the port side. Lastly, we'll just check what it looks like when it's connected at the very back. That's going to remove the kitchen, completely removes the kitchen, replaces it with a few shelves and chair there. So we'll just see what, I'll just take a quick shot. This is what it looks like with the connection and this is what it looks like without. Now, how about when we add windows to the whole thing? So let's see how it manages to maintain itself. So with the windows on all the sides possible, you can see it pretty much just get rid of everything that we would think. So if we had another window here, we would probably actually still maintain this, but everything else. So we've checked a front connection, removes quite a lot, but it does add a little bit of a few extra little details. What about the back? Well, this is a back without a connection for the captain's quarters, and this is the captain's quarters with a connection at the back. So it does change the room quite a lot, but it also does maintain a lot of that crimson look. Not my first choice for connecting this hab. Next, we're going to test the connections of ladders below, up and below and above. So we'll start off with above. So this is quite nifty because it actually has not really lost any details at all. The ladder just sits in very, very nicely. So perhaps captain's quarter going below is going to be the ticket. We'll just check the others and see how we go. But as you can see, nothing has changed. Let's go up and see what it looks like with the connection where it's below. Oh, okay. So the ladder's in the exact same place. So all the detail is remaining above and below when connecting to the first connection. So that's pretty nice. So what about when the connection for the ladder is end of the captain's quarters? Let's have a look and see how much it's preserved the detail. Okay, so this is below at the back and you can see it's preserving all the detail. Terrific. This is going to be probably some of the best ways to connect these habs. We go up, I imagine it's going to be exactly the same, preserving all the detail. It's excellent. It's preserving all the detail when you use ladders. So what we can surmise from this test is that if you did connect all the points on one side or the other, it's going to eliminate a lot of the detail on one side, obviously. So it looks like using ladders is going to be the best sort of option for the captain's quarters. Let's check some of the other modules. Okay, so next we're going to check the Crimson Fleet Tech Core. So following the same procedure, we'll just have a look at the front of the tech module, see how it works when it's connected at the very front and see what we will miss. So this is what it looks like at the front connection. We'll just quickly duck over to see what it looks like normally with no connection. So with no connection, we can see we have a server rack, a flag, a few other little bits and pieces. And if we just go here, we'll have the main computer. And then on this side, we just have some shelves. That could be a good side to connect. If we go along here, we have another big computer and we have a star map thingy bob. We have going across, we have another computer. So it does look like the best place will probably be this shelf area to connect, but we'll see how the ladders look in the end. So let's jump back to the front connection. Still got the shelves, still maintain the computer. So that is good. So front connection still holding a lot of detail. Looking at the port side, front and back connection, starting with the front, we are probably most likely going to we're going to lose that computer for sure. Server has remained and the shelves have remained. Everything else will be in order. And if we jump to the very last connection on the port side, we are losing the computer and star map thing. So both those connections aren't really good options in my opinion if you're looking to preserve as much detail as possible. Let's jump over to the starborn side and front connection. This could be a good option because all we're losing here is the shelves. So a lot of the detail remains. As you can see, all the stuff in here is unvected, which is nice. So we go down to the last connection on the starborn side at the back. We are losing computer and server. So quite a lot of detail lost there as well. So here it is at the backside connection, and then we'll jump over to where there's no connection. And you can see this is what you lose. So a bit of loss there in terms of detail, but quite a lot of detail lost if we connect it with this side. So it does look like the best connection, if you're connecting it, is going to be the starborn top connection to get rid of the shelf. So let's check the ladders starting from front connection top and then below. So we'll jump in and see how much detail is preserved. So another good job here with the ladder placement. It's not really eliminating any detail. So we can go head up and see what the bottom connection does. It's pretty much going to be the same for the looks of it. So same outcome, ladders preserving all the details. I'm assuming it's going to be the same for the bottom connection, but let's quickly have a look at that. Okay, so this room looks a little different. We'll just get a comparison. So this is it with the ladder in the back. Then this is the room with no ladder at all or connections at the back. So you can see we lose a little bit of detail here, particularly with the star map or computer thing. So it kind of means having the ladder at the front might be a better option if you're looking to do ladders. We'll head up and see what kind of detail we lost. I'm assuming it'll be exactly the same, having the bottom connected, and yeah, it's exactly the same. So in review, the best connections for this module, for the tech module, going to be the front ladder, up or down, below or above, will work nicely. The next best option is going to be a connection on the starboard front side, our front connection that will just remove the bookshelf or the shelving. We'll just take a quick look at what it looks like when we add a bunch of windows and get a good idea of how that all sort of looks. Shelving would be definitely removed if we added windows. Keep that in mind. That's probably going to be the best place to put a window, is where the shelves are. And if we go through here, having the windows, yeah, it just eliminates everything. But as you would assume, more windows, less detail always. Let's check the next module. So the next module we'll look at is the workshop module, 2x1. Let's have a look how that stacks up. Okay, so the workshop modules. Let's start off with how we probably should have started them all off with, is looking at the Hab with no connections at all. So here is the workshop front end. We have a large sort of engine generator looking thing, sign saying engineering, some seat green, and another what looks to be like some kind of fuel system or air conditioner possibly. Not sure, but let me know in the comments if you know what all these bits and pieces are, but they look awesome. And then here we go. So this is going to be the best and most important part. Now, the smart thing about this module is that you can see, just put it in the middle. So regardless of how we connect everything, this middle part is always going to remain the same. What we will be losing though in this back end is that chest and stuff on the side here, that emergency screen, some shelving, and then on the back here we have some more kind of mechanical functional stuff that looks, and it does look fantastic. It's going to be a bit of a toss up of where it will be best to connect. Ladders look like it's going to be perfect. Looks like we'll only lose a few things from the ladders, but judging by this, having the front connection may be one of the better options. But let's go have a look. So this is what it looks like from the front, and then this is the front with the connection. So not losing too much, this could be a good option. Let's check the two port side connections, starting with the very first one. We're going to lose that awesome looking contraption. Still keep the piping though on the side there, which is nice, but we do lose that mechanical. We do lose that air conditioner, let's call it for now. So looking at the back connection, let's have a look. Looking at the back port side connection, let's have a look. Okay, so a little bit of a glitch here because we have the emergency screen going across, and we still have the chest, which is nice. We only lose a little bit of detail. I kind of like that the TV stays there. I wonder if you can walk through it. This is what it looks like with the connection, and this is what it looks like without. So a little bit of clutter and details missing. So we'll quickly check what the back connection looks like. This is the back without any connection, and this is the back with a connection. So it looks quite nice. We haven't lost too much detail there. Only losing a few bits. Okay, so how about the starboard front and back connection? Gonna lose quite a bit of detail on these two connections. I don't really recommend these. So this is the front connection. As you can see, we've lost a fair bit here. So this is what it looks like. And then without the connection, you can see lots of detail lost here. The starboard back connection, let's have a look. It actually holds up quite nicely. It does maintain quite a lot of the detail. So this is what it looks like with the connection, and this is what it looks like without. So we've only lost like a few little bits and pieces there. So that is actually going to be a good connection, and that's your back connection on the starboard. Let's check what it looks like with the ladders from below and above, starting from the top connection going up. So the ladder doesn't really remove any of the detail, which is very, very nice. If we head up, and that's the ladder coming through the bottom, and it is also not losing any detail. So ladders seem to be very consistent in maintaining all the good details of these builds, of these modules. We'll check the back connection out from below and above using a ladder, and as you can see, we haven't lost any detail at all. Now, the only trouble is with this is how easy will it be to get around this ladder? As you've seen in the previous bit where I found that I could not get to certain areas because I was blocked off due to some of the clutter, but you would probably be able to just jump around and go up the ladder this way. It would be handy to have the ladder possibly facing the other way if it's possible, but you can see how this is going to be a bit of a problem. So let's head up, and so pretty much exactly the same. So still a bit of an issue to get around this sort of area. So probably wouldn't suggest using a ladder for the back end on the engineering's quarter. However, what we can note is that all this stuff has maintained in the middle throughout all the different configurations. So that's really nice. Smart move. Now, what does it look like if we add windows to a lot of the places? You can see it just looks completely different. The atmosphere is very much dissipated. It's looking like just any old module. So if you want the best possible option, I would say it is the ladder at the front. And if you're connecting it on the side, I would suggest the next one. So the next one we're going to test is the Crimson Fleet Mess Hall. Take a look. Okay, starting off, let's check the Crimson Fleet Mess Hall with no connections at all. Got to say, this is probably one of the coolest looking rooms. So at the front, we have couches, tables, chairs, a hooker. That's really cool. I forgot. And we've got a hooker here, which is pretty cool. And then a computer on the left. Now we know this middle module will not change despite what we connect. So good to see that this detail, which is a functioning kitchen, I believe, is all preserved. Coffee machine, the lot. It looks awesome. Now here at the back, we've got some really cool features. We have a pool table, the red mile poster, and the Crimson flag. We do have a good option at the back here to connect it with, which is just going to be shelving, but then this is going to be a tricky room because it looks like almost any connections might remove the pool table. One little note though with the pool table, the queues are kind of sitting in the actual table. Little details like that for money, I'm only kidding. Tiny little details like that probably don't matter too much to people, but we are paying for it. So looking at the front connection, go and have a look what detail we lose. So we lose quite a lot. We lose that nice couch. So this is what it looks like with the front connection, and this is what the front looks with no connection. So a lot of the atmosphere and details kind of lost without that couch there, in my opinion. So next we'll check the port side, front and back connection, starting with the front connection. So this is what it looks like with the port side connection, the top connected. So it looks like we'll lose some detail, but not a ton. So let's have a look what it looks like without the connection. So without the connection, we have the toilet, we have the juice and little computer thing. So quite a little bit of detail has been lost there. However, we do maintain the chair and that little drink machine. So not all lost, but all it does add a little bit of detail there. And being a mess hall, maybe you'd want to keep that. There might be a better area for it. Okay, so the port side back connection, if we don't actually lose the pool table, which is really, really nice. However, we can definitely say having a ladder in this room is going to get rid of this pool table. So this, perhaps a ladder on the backside will not be a good option, but this is what it looks like with the connection, and this is what it looks like without. So this could be a good option. You're only really losing the flag and a net and a few other little bits and pieces. So this could be a good choice. So with a back connection, this is what it looks like. Seems to change the lighting quite a noticeable amount, and we're just losing the shelves. So this is what it looks like with the connection and then without. Okay, it doesn't change the lighting that much, and you're only missing the shelves. So I'd say the back connection is by far going to be the best choice in terms of preserving the details. We're just getting rid of shelves. Now looking at the starborn side, front and back connection, starting with the front connection. So we still maintain all the couches, and that's a good amount of detail preserved. So this is what it looks like with the connection, and this is what it looks like if we don't have a connection there. So we would lose the PC, chair, and a few other bits and pieces. So here we have the back starborn connection, and we're just losing a little bit of detail here, but I still think the shelves are going to be the best connection. But let's have a look. This is what it looks like with the connection, and this is what it looks like without the connection. So we lose the monitor, and that's pretty much it. You don't even lose the sign, so kind of a good compromise there as well. However, I still maintain the back. Now let's move on to the ladder connections. Looking at the front and back connections from a below and above, starting with the front connection, going from below to above. Okay, so this is quite cool. We've barely lost any detail at all with the ladder. This is what it looks like with the ladder. We'll just quickly do one comparison here. And this is what it looks like without the ladder. So we do lose the table and the booker or hooker, whatever you call it. Outside that, a lot of the detail remains. Okay, so let's head up. Now, I'm assuming we'll just be losing the exact same amount of detail going to the bottom, from the bottom connection. Just going to be the same. We're just missing the table and the hooker. Now, this is where it'll get interesting with the pool table. So this is the back connection below and above, going from below first. Okay, so a little bit of a defect here or a bug. We do have the ladder on top of the pool table, just going straight through. Now, I don't know if this is because of some of my mods or if this is what it's going to be like for everyone. So do note your ladder is going to be intersecting with some objects. I'm sure this will be fixed, but it is things like this that would urge me to give lower score points for a paid mod. It should be thoroughly tested. In fact, this is exactly the process any of the creators of any of these mods should be going through, is basically running through every kind of different connection that you can think of with all the base game Habs to get a good idea of how it all looks when it's within all the variation. That's just my humble opinion, but I believe they should be tested. For money, we should be getting tested Hab. But ultimately, this will be removed, and by the time you watch this video, that probably won't be the case. We will just not see the pool table. Now, some might like having the pool table remain, others might not, but in terms of keeping it more realistic, you'd probably want the table removed. So if we look up, we are going to run into the pool table, and we will just go up and have a look. So it's the same deal. Question is, can you actually get up into this Hab with the ladder? I don't know. It could be an issue. So to me, this is kind of a cosmetic defect, or a defect definitely, depending on how restricted it is of actually accessing the Habs. But again, by the time you watch this will all be resolved. So a non-issue going into the future. But if any mod creators are watching this and you are doing Habs, please test them thoroughly, especially for the current price tag. In my humble opinion, I think it's a good idea. My recommended suggestion for connection is the front, the back starborn connection, and probably the best connection would be just at the back here, where it keeps the most detail out of everything. Crimson Fleet crew quarters. Now this is a 3x1, so this one has a few more connection points. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we go, the crew quarters. So starting us off with no connections at all. Let's get a good idea of how this ship looks. Boxing bag, green, some health, and coal in there again. Flag here. We got deadlift rack. As we go through into into the middle compartment, we have a kitchen. Apparently, I'm pretty sure that's a fully functional kitchen. We have a toilet behind here, I believe. Some little bar stools looking at greens. And then in the middle section, we have a little chill out area with some seats and Jaros 5. No idea they are, if that's a legit thing. And then the other side, just shelves. Then it opens up to possibly another bed or toilet and tons of bunks here, chairs, a screen, and a computer. So that's what we're looking at. So basically, we're going to be eliminating a lot of these details, which will be dependent on which area we connect. But let's start off with the front connection. This is what it looks like if you connect to the front, and this is without a connection. So we're losing the bench press, which is a bit of a shame. So we'll look at the port side connection, starting with the very front, the very first connection. So this is what it looks like with the front connections. We still keep the bench press, which is nice, and the deadlift rack and the screen. And this is what it looks like without. So we lose the boxing bag and chair and a bucket by the looks. So not too bad. So moving on to the middle connection on the port side. So to me, this looks like a very good option. Looks like the middle hab is going to be the way to connect this module. So this is what it looks like with the connection. And this is what it looks like without the connection. So we're losing the table, some chairs, some posters. Moving on to the end connection on the port side. This is what it looks like with the connection. This is what it looks like without. So we're losing quite a lot of detail here. We're losing the table with the PC, poster, the fridge. Oh, actually scratch that. We just lose the fridge and a few other little bits and pieces. We keep the table and the computer. So let's check the rear connection now. So this is what it will look like at a connection at the back. And this is what it looks like without a connection. So we're losing the TV and the table, the plant and the shelf. So not too bad of a difference there. This could be a good connection. So moving on to the starboard side, starting with the front connection. Okay, so some kind of glitch here, or again, maybe this is just on my end or it wasn't completely tested, but this is the connection. And as you can see, it is going through. So a little bit of a discrepancy here, but again, I'm not 100% sure if this is something on my end, but at least I guess you don't lose the squat rack. But however, by the time you watch this will probably be fixed. So keep in mind, we will lose the squat rack connecting it to this side. So that's the front starboard connection. Let's move on to the middle connection on the starboard side. So this is what it looks like with the connection. So it looks like we are going to lose a few things. And this is what it looks like without the connection. Here it is again. Looks like we just lose some table and chairs. So not too bad. That could be a good option. Checking the last connection on the starboard side. We will just zoom in here and have a look. This is what it looks like without. We do have a floating container here. So that will get removed at some point. But this is what it looks like with the connection. And this is what it looks like without the connection. We're losing a bunch of cupboards, couch by the looks of it. And this is what the floating thing was. One of these fire containers. So yeah, we do lose a couch and some of those quite well detailed storage racks. So we're going to take a look at the ladder connections now. So we'll start with the front top connection going from top to above. With the ladder, we lose the bench press by the looks of it. So we'll quickly go up and have a look. So same again, we are losing the barbell rack. So this is what it looks like without the ladder. This is what it looks like without the ladder. Then with the ladder, a bit of a difference. So checking the middle connection now with ladders. So this is below. And if we head back up, we will pretty much be expecting the same result. Okay, it looks a little bit different, I think. So here we go. And this is above. It does look, I think it's a little bit different. Check again. Okay, no, it's not. It's exactly the same. It just looks a little different to me. I think it's just because the lighting. So this is what this area looks like without a ladder. If we just quickly scroll around. And then this is the area with no ladder. So very, very similar. We're just missing a table. Testing the end connection now for ladders below and above. This is what the area looks like from below. Looks exactly the same from above. And this is what it looks like without a ladder. So we're missing the couch and maybe that's about it by the looks of it. Yeah, pretty much just the extra couch is all we're missing. So not bad. So there you have it. That's the crew quarters. Now we won't worry about covering the storeroom. I think we've covered enough. So there you have it. We've covered a lot. However, when it comes down to recommending this mod, given the current price, which is roughly between $5 and $6 US and a whopping $9 Australian, despite loving Starfield a great deal and really encouraging such great mod developers who create stuff like this for Starfield, these prices are egregious. I'm only going to take a few of these mods and we basically repurchased a whole Starfield, which has endless amount of content compared to what we're seeing. Not only that, is that these mods are going to be for sale for, another 10 years. I know the mod creators put a lot of effort and hard work into this. The amount, I'm not sure, but we're talking probably weeks, possibly months, depending on what kind of mod it is. And if it's true that majority of the money is going to the creators, then that is awesome to hear. However, who are setting the prices? Now, from what I hear, it is Bethesda, but it's all a bit hazy right now. For me, I think these mods only need to be a few dollars, given the large possibility that they are going to be making sales for a very long time. Not sure how the contracts or exactly how it works, but these prices are going to be out of touch for a lot of people. Now, if I'm going to be paying $9 Australian, I expect a very well tested mod that doesn't have any issues. And the fact that me going through and testing this mod myself, finding minor issues that will be resolved by the time you watch this, is a little bit of an irritation. Now, majority of these frustrations are probably going to be only directed at Bethesda, because they're probably the gatekeepers and the controllers of these prices. And for many people, a cup of coffee to buy this mod would not be considered much. However, it does start to set precedents for future mods, driving up prices even further. However, ignoring the price, it is truly a freaking awesome mod. Having themed Habs is a really cool idea, and I'm sure we're going to see so many more of them. Mods like this are definitely going to transform how your ship looks compared to others. But the only issue I see with this kind of setup is that we're never going to really have a system where we could share our ships between each other, like going to a console and being able to buy ships online, like going to a terminal and being able to scroll through other people's builds and then purchase those, because you will have ships like this. However, maybe there'll just be requirements where you can't throw in purchase content or Habs into ships. Getting a little sidetracked here, but overall, I really do like the mod. Really awesome to see content like this come into Starfield. You really will get to play out your, ultimate Crimson fantasy, having a ship like this, and the attention to detail and all the placement, lighting, and everything is done at a very professional and high level. Something like this would have taken a long time and does deserve to be given money, but we just got to put a bit of a pedal on how much these mods are going to be charged for. Would I recommend it at its current price? Unfortunately, no, I would not. Many people would have no issues with purchasing this mod. Due to this channel, I will be going broke purchasing most of these mods so I can show you and save you money and help you make an informed decision on whether or not to purchase it. So I hope I've kind of given you enough information to give you a good idea if you want to put some money into this. If money's not really a problem, this is just a bit of a no-brainer. Really nice and fun mod to have. However, if you're a bit of a poor and a stingy person and want value for money, these prices need to come down. And the trouble is, this is kind of a comment across the whole creation Starfield marketplace right now. We all know these prices are too high. However, I really like the mod curator who made this mod. I've watched a lot of his stuff on YouTube, especially the creation kit stuff. So no bad blood there, just some honest thoughts on what's happening with the marketplace, Starfield in general. But love your work. Fantastic job. And I really look forward to how this mod progresses. I'm really hoping we do get a few more modules that have higher crew capacity and all the bugs and issues with the different ways it connects get resolved. And just one last thing, what I'd really like to see in the mod is maybe an even darker tone or a more brutalish, kind of ship. Depending on the faction, like which ship would be the most, crazy looking, would one have like skulls in one of the rooms that they've collected? I do look forward to a much more, brutish, crazy base Ravager kind of appeal. Which faction that would be, I'm not too sure. They're all kind of pretty brutal, so would love to see a bit more of a much darker undertone and gruesome kind of ship, maybe some blood splatter or some things like that, which reflects a bit more of the, brutish nature and then livelihood of the different factions perhaps. And with all that done, enough of me yabbering. Thanks so much. Hope this helps. Peace out till next time.